Welcome to Conversations of the Corner. I am Latish and I am here with David Marotta. Welcome. Thank you for coming this way to hang out with me. How
Thanks
are you
for
doing?
having me. I'm doing all right.
You have a new baby. How does the baby?
He's 3 months.
Perfect. You want to share his name or not so much? It's okay.
No, it's okay. His name's Azariah.
Say it again.
Azariah.
Azariah. I love that. Is that out the Bible?
It is. There's a few different Azariahs, and the most popular version, I believe, was Abednego when the fiery furnace, when they got taken over by the Babylonians and they threw them in the fiery furnace. They gave them new names, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were their names, but I believe one of them's name was Azariah. There was some other Azariahs in the Bible as well, so God's help, and there's a few different Azariahs in the Bible, but
Okay, perfect. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
What do I do? I've done a lot of different things. Been in sales for a long time, been in the travel industry for a long time. Right now, I'm in affiliate marketing and content, and I make some radio appearances, a couple times a week on XM radio and on TV. So, kind of just building my personal brand.
Yeah, so I love watching your videos. Where can I find your videos? Where can they find your videos? Because I know where I can find it.
Yeah, so my videos, I got a YouTube channel called Get Sports Strong, and there's another one called Winners and Winers that I post a lot of content on, and usually on Mondays or Sundays. It changes each week, but I'm usually on Sirius XM channel 159 and Sports Grid TV. Or if people follow me on X at Get Sports Strong, I post updates of the different platforms that I'm on. So on X or Instagram, one or the other, I update people with where they can find my content.
Okay, perfect. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you is because you are a man and you have a family. How long have you been married now?
So I have been married since, just got married in September, so it hasn't been a full year yet. But I mean, just for the audience knowing about me, I mean, it is what it is. So I haven't been married for a year yet in this marriage, but if you want to take, it's my second marriage, so if you want to take total marriage experience, I've got over 6 years.
Okay. Put them all together, 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's but I wanted to check in with you because by you being newly married, not even a year, the new baby, how was that? How is your mental health with all of that?
It's I don't know.
That's a good answer though.
It depends on the hour. So I've got 2 other sons. So I've actually got 18, 7, and now 3 months. So I'm like in 3 different dad modes. I've got one that's getting ready to graduate high school, looking to go on to the military. I've got another one that's just active in all types of stuff, just bouncing off the wall, from doing stuff with piano to all different types of sports and just having energy. And then now I also have the baby, so it's 3 different modes right now.
I know.
Yeah.
And you dealing with it all, and the buck stops with you. How does that make you feel? Like you are it?
What do you mean by I'm it?
Like you are the foundation. You are the foundation of the house. Everything falls on your shoulders.
That's a good question. I think that's a lot of times how we look at it, and I guess I'm trying to, maybe that's a fault of mine sometimes, and I think that could be a fault for a lot of us because there's always other people involved, and I know that I want to think like as the man, like it all runs through me, but even when it's just every opportunity, everyone in the country, every leader, I know everyone kind of likes to have the stories like they did it all on their own, but everybody needs help, and I think that's the tough thing sometimes because I am always thinking, you know, the buck stops with me, and maybe that's what wears me down.
Do you know how to ask for help?
Do I know how to ask for help? That's a great question. I think I do, but I think that men and women are a bit different. I think sometimes maybe I don't know how to maybe show that I'm down and quote unquote beg for help. I think sometimes I may hint or I may say it, but I may say it in a way where it's like I could use some help, but the way it may come across like I could use some help, but I'll be okay, without it. I don't really know how it sounds to say like, "Hey, I'm messed up right now." You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the tough thing to do, to show like any weakness, right, or to seem unraveled, or that you don't have control of the situation. That's hard for me to do. And I know sometimes when just like if somebody's working at industries you've worked in, if somebody's serving a table and it could be busy, that's part of the business. If they say that they got it, but they're a little busy, you might be like, okay, you got it, but it's one thing if somebody's really swamped, or if there's an emergency, they might have to just be like, hey, I need somebody over there with me now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think I do a good job of that.
But now that you know that you don't do a good job of that, do you think that's something that you will work on?
I would like to try to work on it. It's hard to...
it is hard.
To do that, though, because sometimes I think that internally I have this feeling that any type of weakness that you portray, I feel like at some point in time can be used against you. So that gets a little tough. Even, just being honest, I know it's tough, but even like in a relationship or in a marriage, throughout the time you have good days and bad days, and you're always worried at some point in time, and it's no reflection on why I would feel like this, right or wrong. I kind of feel like this could be any woman in the world, right? At some point she's gonna be upset, and there's always that feeling that somebody can throw something back at you, that makes you not want to show. It's just like with superheroes and things like that. Like Superman doesn't want too many people to know that kryptonite is his weakness. You know
right.
what I mean? And even though he should have knew better, but there's just so many examples in the Bible. Even Samson and Delilah. Like sometimes it's you hope for the best, but sometimes it's like the only way you feel like you can protect yourself is for no one to truly know your weaknesses.
That's a good point. So we're going to shift gears just a little bit.
Yeah.
And talk about Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Now, what is your opinion on his situation? Because we seen that he exploded so fast and he was doing so good, and we're all big fans, right?
Yeah.
And then this kind of happened. Well, that situation. What is your opinion on that?
I don't want to burn no bridges. They might say they were getting ready to call me on the show, but but no, I think with so I've been following Shannon Sharpe a long time. Even as a big sports fan, even back when he played for the Broncos and the Ravens, and a lot of moments of them tormenting my Browns, and I've seen the progression that he's made, and I think that it's been great as far as being a Hall of Fame athlete, but putting the work in as on the media side as someone who hasn't accomplished what he's accomplished. So he doesn't really fall on his laurels or brag about them and things like that. So I've been really proud of what he's accomplished. Now, I do, if I'm just being completely honest though, I do think that I saw a bit of a shift after that Cat Williams interview. And I was talking to some of my friends about this. I think that Shannon started getting a little too I know when you're in the limelight, people want to know about you. I'm a bit of a private person, and I know it's good for the audience to know you and to connect. But I feel like with Ocho on that nightcap, sometimes they start talking a little wild. And I was thinking this. He did an interview with I believe Damon Wayans a couple of weeks before all this came out.
Yeah.
And he asked Damon, who I think is in his early 60s, you saw that interview?
I did.
Okay, so you saw where he asked him about like dating advice, and Damon was saying, "I don't date," you know. He said he has peace, and I know in the back of Shannon's mind he's probably wondering, but like, how do you get your rocks off, whatever?
Right.
But they didn't. But for me, I know so much. I'm not sure like how familiar you are with people, especially like men, with this like there's like this red pill, blue pill world out there, purple pill, all those different things. And I know a lot of times people talk about like there's no point for a man to get married when you're successful and you have money. That's like an argument a lot of people make. But when I saw where I'm trying to bring all this to, when he made that comment to Damon Wayans, I was really thinking, man, like late 50s, early 60s, to have that many eyes on you and that much money and that much attention, man, the streets are not safe. Like, so I think that, I mean, it's tough. Yeah, people can live with any type of life that they want to live, but one of my friends that says something, like kind of an argument for marriage. I know a lot of times where people say, well, when you get married, you know, she can take your money and all this and this can happen. And that is very true. However, you know, if you look at you're dealing with one woman for a long period of time, that's risky. But if you think that that's risky, I mean, dealing with one woman a week, maybe more than a woman a week for 20, 30 years is extremely
risky.
It's extremely risky. And just like now, the day and age that we live in, I mean, if you're just, I think that's one thing, me having 3 sons, it's not something that we get taught a lot. Like I think for men, as far as like when it comes to, I'm honestly like when it comes to women and sex, we don't really get taught as much as far as like the downside. They just make it sound like it's all good and, you know, just conquer as many women as you can through that phase. But man, so we can go back to the Bible, the very, very, very first man. Like it all comes down to, for men, sex and food can bring you down. That is how it started.
Yeah.
With Adam, you know.
Yeah.
The fruit, you know what? Like, so those two things can really can bring you down. So I think that it's important to, I mean, there's just the other side to it. When you got a lot to lose, I mean, you just got to keep in mind you got a lot to lose. He's messing with, she's grown, but man, like OnlyFans, like she don't. I think they were saying she was like 19 when he first started dealing with her.
My question to you is, because he's 56.
Yeah.
Why would a 56-year-old man choose the 19-year-old girl? What is he afraid of in adult women?
Well, I think he was just having fun. But I will say 19 he's quite a bit older. 19 is too young.
And I'm not even
I'm not shaming.
Right, no. And I'm not even opposed to older men and younger women. I think sometimes that age gap can be okay because women mature faster than men. But it just seems like it's almost seems like he's afraid of something.
Yeah, mature faster and they know how to set you up.
Clearly, I don't think because a baby, she set him up, and she's asking what, $50 million?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, though, I think, for anybody. And, I mean, Shannon can do what he wants to do. But I do think for men, women, everybody, like sometimes when people say they want a relationship or this type of person, you also have to realize, like, are you really ready to receive it? And is it what you're dealing with kind of...
Yeah, that's a good point.
attract that, you know what I mean? Because you still have to kind of date with intentions and things like that if you want. And I know for men, they kind of will downplay it, but I think for men, we got to have some intention too, man.
Yes.
And we got to start thinking, because at the end of the day, I think that the lesson in it is, I mean, you're 60, but if you're just kind of doing stuff like, oh, I'm supposed to do it because I can, like, it's gonna eventually. I mean, we're seeing that happening. A lot of people getting caught up, man. That sex and food gonna take you down. You gotta have some. Seriously, but if you could conquer your penis in your stomach, you can make a lot of things happen.
That is so deep. That is so. I'm so serious. That is so deep, because a lot of people don't even realize that.
They don't even try. They're like, why? For what? Why would I try to?
Right. But that is so deep. Sex and food. That is. That's real. I had another question for you. So. Oh man, sex and food. You have completely thrown me off with that one. So, what do you want for the future? Like, what does your future look like? Are you you see yourself venturing out on your own?
You mean family, work? Which ways?
Work. Because I know you have the XM. Do you think you're going to take it, take it further?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm kind of venturing on my own now. So I've got a platform that I'm trying to grow, and I'm a guest on a lot of people's platforms, and glad to be here. I'm kind of doing. I'm kind of doing my hopefully like Lil Wayne thing right now. So I'm doing features. You know? But yeah, I think for me though, I think for everyone is kind of in a interesting place, because the days of, I guess it can still happen, but the days of, working at a, city job, union job for 35 years and then, retiring with a pension and things like that. But it's just the things are happening a little bit differently. And a lot of places now, they used to honor being at places for a long time. Now, if you're somewhere for more than 2 years, if you're not moving up, they almost look down on you for it. And I think that one thing I'm realizing, you really have to do a lot of things. You really have to prove that you can do a lot of things on your own. Like I say, even if it's a salon or whatever, for somebody to bring you in, they almost don't want to bring you in unless they already know that you can do it on your own.
Or you got to have your own clientele. Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, whether music, anything, people are looking for people who already have followings, and we've got so much technology and resources now. You kind of got to make a name for yourself, or else the companies are going to feel like they made you.
So what advice would you have for that 16-year-old fatherless Black boy that just wants to be successful in life?
First thing I guess I would say is figure out, obviously it's going to change a lot, but figure out what you like to do. Not necessarily think about the career that you want, but figure out what you like to do, because even at 16, you're probably going to still like to do that in some form when you're 36, when you're 56. So I would say figure out what you like to do first, and then look at different ways that you can monetize that in the future, and just try to get better at that in that area. I would say, and to treat everyone with respect. I know sometimes that may feel hard, but you never know how high up somebody is or how low, and nobody's really high. Like that person that they may be low now, they could be up there later. So don't really judge people by what you think that they can do for you. Treat everybody with respect. You never know who's watching you, so find out what you like to do, find out ways that you could potentially monetize that, get better in those areas, and I think just treat everybody with respect. Try to make a a good impression, like it's their first time seeing you. Treat everybody like that person is the key to all your dreams. You know, and
that's
just
good advice.
yeah.
Well, I so appreciate you driving a long way in Texas, because anything in Texas is a long way. So I appreciate you coming out here. I love you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. And we are going to finish up with Conversations in the Corner. This is David Marotta.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.